Welcome to Stone Soup Poetry. Everyone do the bill. Yes, very good. And welcome to Stone Soup Poetry, our weekly gathering, sometimes online, sometimes in person, since going semi-hybrid since 2020 or 2023, really. Or 2022. We started doing both live in-person shows and live online shows around the summer of last year. And it's been working out really well. Hopefully we'll have a true hybrid and people online will at least be able to listen in addition to having people in the audience. So knock on wood for that. We'll be making announcements for the upcoming in-person show at the Assemblage Gallery, located in the Seaport area of at the Assemblage Gallery, right across from the Barton Crab at 78 Sleeper Street. And thanks to everyone who came tonight. Our feature, who, even though it was a very short notice request, because I found out her schedule, it's probably arguably the most anticipated feature so far of the year. So props to Karen Friedland.
Thank you
For featuring. And
Thank you.
Props to everyone who is coming, members of the Poet Entourage, and of course our regulars. We're going to start the open mic as soon as possible. First of all, although it's very weird for me to be listed here twice, this is what was so weird, because when I first came on, it kicked me off, and when I came on again, before I could let anyone in, it was just basically two of my faces. And it told me, Chad Parento is taking over for the meeting. Would you like to take over from Chad Parento, or would you like to remain the co-host? I'm like, I don't know what that means, but the technical difficulties are more or less gone. I would evict myself, my extra self, from the call, except I don't know what that could cause problematic. I could be banned from my own calls from now on. So let's not take that chance. Thank you all for coming. We're going to get to the open mic, and this is a recorded event, not just for the live stream on Facebook, and thanks to those of you who are watching now and commenting, but it also will appear on YouTube sometime between 8:30 and 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. And hopefully more features and more announcements are going to come for the 52nd anniversary celebration of Stone Soup Poetry, which started on May 1st, 1973 by the late Teacup Palace. And now, without further ado, the Remdinator 5000 has chosen the first victim, the sacrificial open micer. And it's who we have now is multiple published author and Stone Soup regular on the open mic, and multiple times Stone Soup feature. Let's welcome up Mr. David Miller.
Okay. Hey, everybody. Looking forward to hearing Karen very, very much. So here's the poem. 2 apartments and the moon. Those years I slept narrow on a pushed shut sofa bed. Apartment house roof lines packed both sides of the close street. The moon never claimed the night in that room. Street light neutered its traces, as did the tired bedsheet abandoned by someone else's one-time apartment mate, curtaining my single window. When, in my decade shared with you, I come to my feet at 1 a.m., pause at the kitchen window. Moonlight's full expanse drapes the floor, lifts the previous day's diseased news like a draw of bad blood. It will find me at 4 if, again, I'm restless, up and wandering to the front window and the still street. If I pretend to speak for it, it says, stop and look up now. Fullness is not always with you. Thanks very much.
Thanks so much for leading the charge, David. And thanks to our benefactors here at Parks unknowingly hosting the reading. I had quite a commute story. I'll probably talk about it when I write my Stone Soup Crouton poem, which will be published in time on Friday morning. And up next, we have newish regular open micer here. Ask her about her Facebook group and her regular interview series, which I hope to be a part of soon. And that's talk.
I'm not hearing her.
Annette, your mic's not working for whatever reason. Let's have you come back, because we'll get back to you, and we'll go to somebody else. You're gonna do one, are you saying 1
Can
second?
you hear me? Can you hear me
Yeah.
now?
Awesome.
Okay, I'm sorry. I forgot to, I had to change the settings. Glad to be here in all of your presence, and really looking forward to the key speaker later on. So my group is a passion of poetry. We grow very quickly. I'm getting ready to turn over 39,000. We'll be at 40 probably another week. It's crazy, but you're all welcome, of course, to join. We have lots of events there as well, including the pop chat with Chad needs to schedule with me. Hint, hint. So
Working on it.
I know you're a busy man too. So I just pulled this out right before we started tonight, and it's called Destiny. Oh, destiny, in what path may you lie? For at this moment, my vision is obscured. A thick, dense fog refusing to dissipate, obstructing my view in what future may develop. Clarity is only a few feet away, yet it eludes me. Paths I have trod in the past, now continuing into unforeseen quicksand. I'm sinking, 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 disappearing, not recognizing my former self, a woman who once knew what she wanted, yet former desires and aspirations have grown stale. I have succumbed to a new refined palate, but how does one obtain that which is hidden beyond the fog, where dreams are beyond the reach of effervescent moonbeams? My destiny, not yet clear, for my present reality bars my path as I look to escape my mundane and tedious world, the repetition of life, cementing me from achieving the spontaneity of joy. Old desires and endeavors no longer a part of my envisioned repertoire. It is I who will need to steer my ship into the calming waters to sail. As the winds fill my sails with unequivocal purpose beyond the foggy veil, wherein my destiny lies. Thank you.
Yeah. Up next, I'm going to introduce one of our phone callers. Again, if you're planning on featuring, please try and send me a text message in the chat to let me know that you want to read, so I don't interrupt and call you out and possibly embarrass you. But if you want to read, we can definitely pick you in. Up next, I'm going to ask her to unmute by pressing *6, and this is one of our 2 regular phone participants who don't have a computer, but they call in on a regular basis. And the first one is Nancy Dotson. Nancy, if you can press *6 and join us. Nancy, can you press *6? Okay, she stepped away, so I will.
Thank you very much.
Oh, there we go.
Guilt. Possession of my theft of a golden comb being stolen by me. Fear of the theft as God sees through me. My mission is reflection, shatters my insecure self. Guilt, the damage to my melting soul, destroys me and causes pain within. Greed and desire pervades me. I want and want. All my love is lust with fire and desire. Guilt is the thought. My spirit will die. The Antichrist dwells within. I am nothing.
Thank you, Nancy. Thank you for joining us. And we got a couple people letting me know that they want to read. I'll go to one of the first people who said they wanted to read. Let's go to Karen Reynolds.
Hi, everyone. I'm mostly here to see Karen, but you guys seem like a great bunch. I am the host of a reading series myself called Poetry at the Barn. So you can check that out. We're having a reading on the 15th. This poem is called Just Another Word. At 14, I wanted to be Janis Joplin, to have that raspy voice come out of my still, smooth throat. Thought I already knew the blues, what it felt like when somebody took another little piece of my heart. I wanted to hear those windshield wipers slapping time, sitting in the cab of some truck as I sang my way out, left my crappy little life behind. Trying to get that voice, the one I thought I wanted. I smoked half a pack of cigarettes the first time I sang her songs at what passed for a dive bar in downtown suburbia. I belted out, freedom was just another word. But I had no idea then how much there could be to lose when you think you got nothing left. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Karen. I hope this isn't the last time we see you. We do this at the very least every first and third and the occasional fifth Wednesday online. In person, it can be tough to get to. The assemblage gallery is in the, I'll say it here, the much debated seaport area of Boston, which is kind of like the new Manhattan. So people have mixed feelings about that. It's like, this is what all of Boston's gonna look like in another 40 years. But yeah, but the gallery is amazing and the people behind it are very supportive. So I do hope you consider checking out the assemblage gallery and the Fort Point Arts community. And hopefully we're going to have at least one extra event in May, celebration of Stone's 52nd anniversary. So we are moving on to the next person on the open mic. Let's go to contributor who calls himself Magister Galt. I like to know him as Gentleman Galt, one of the first nicknames I gave him, but he's also known as Edward S. Galt. And check out his work upcoming in Oddball Magazine.
Thank you, Chad. This is called Sanctuary. I paid the man for the coffee and the paper, then was lucky enough to find one of those large, soft armchairs almost right away. Usually you have to wait at a table until the person in it leaves. This could be a while if that person is talking on their cell phone or if they went to sleep. But this was a cafe, and that was unlikely. Somebody would wake you up and offer you more coffee. But I simply read the paper. There were the usual school shootings, Middle East wars, global warming had replaced starving children in the news. Finally, the comics. It helped me get my mind off the cramped apartment and the guest staying for the holidays. My relatives would all tell me that war couldn't be prevented. Climate change occurred ever so often, according to the laws of nature. Children couldn't all be fed, according to the laws of economics. School shootings would continue. We couldn't have a perfect world, but our unit would be squeaky clean. Thank you. And by the way, that was written like 20 years ago. So consider that back then, cell phones were like, those communicators on Star Trek And back then, we didn't have them in telescreen form. You can hold in your hand like that. They were smaller. And also that Columbine had only just happened. So yes, school shootings would indeed continue. They had so much more. So that poem was practically prophetic from that point of view, tragically, unfortunately. Anyway, thank you very much.
Thank you, Ed. I have a feeling if you were waiting for me in the cafe right now, you'd be very pissed. Nobody's here till nothing.
Thank you.
And who we go to next? We're gonna go to Ken Rowe, one half of the Power Duo, who I accidentally named Chad Valentino. Boy, this is give me 1 second. I'm just changing the name. There we go. Now they're properly represented as the power couple of Snow Soup, Dan Rowe and James Van Lloyd. Jane, you're first. All you gotta do is unmute.
All right. This is a work in progress. And Ed's reading makes me think about this. 1994, assault weapon ban, mass murders dropped 43%. When the ban on assault weapons expired under Cheney Bush, the murder rate increased about 245%. Last year, Japan had 3 gun assault deaths, and one was the prime minister, whom Trump had entertained at Mar-a-Lago beforehand, of course. So Japan had 3, and we had over 37,000. Oh, this Tennessee shooting, 3 9-year-olds, 3 adults, the senator, Massey, the federal senator, you know, he's the one with the Christmas card. They all had guns. Santa sent ammo. He's saying school shootings never happened if the teachers carry, but he's using an old study. The Tennessee rep, Tim Burdett, nothing's going to change. And besides, he homeschools. So that's Rep. Tim Burdett. Now the governor, Lee, the night before it happened, he was at the Beretta gun factory signing legislation. His wife was to have dinner with an old friend, one of those adults that was shot that day. So some of our young people are now experiencing their second school shooting. And there was one Uvalde child that said what she'll do next time. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dan. Appreciate your update. It's hard. I have to actually be reminded of like how many shootings there's been since last week. Good Lord. I don't think any actually, but it doesn't feel that way. But we're gonna go for some levity now, or at least attempt it, with Mr. Bill Lewis, if he's around. There he is. Oh, he's in the shadows too. Oh my God, our reading's been so dour. He's now lowered the lights now. He's doing the bookkeeper. There we go.
What? Did you say something? Just a second. Let me get me candle. I have to be able to see what's happening. Oh, my dear friends, it is so long since we have been together. Oh, it is a pleasure indeed to be able to see you here. Oh, I cannot tell you. Oh, the experiences I have suffered since we were last together. I was attacked, my friends. I was subject to potential physical violence. I managed to avoid any injuries, but nonetheless, it could have been fatal. I tell you, that fellow, he was after me. He was not amused with my protestations of innocence. I have written it down in a poetic form, or perhaps whatever you call your poetic forms. I don't know, but feel for me, I barely survived. I could be lying dead on the bottom of the Charles River at this very moment. Attack! Screaming, his tiny eyes like blazing with hatred, like the devil, he came at me. You get back. This is my spot. One more step and I will tear you to pieces. Not turning, I took a step backwards. Sorry, buddy. I didn't mean to disturb you. This is a public pathway. Well, I ain't public no more. He advanced on me, looking for an opportunity of a weakness to exploit. I stomped a threatening foot in his direction, and he paused. Don't give me no shit, buddy. I'm not going to steal your stuff. I'm just walking through here. He squawked an obscenity at me as I departed, backing away. I gave him a sneer, but he kept walking. You told him, Bobby. You told him. His girlfriend chortled. She stuck out her tongue and hissed at me. Eat shit and die, human being. You get near our nest again, my Bobby's gonna bite you where it really hurts. She flapped her wings emphatically and dropped a great big green deuce right in front of me to show me who was boss. I considered replying in kind, but thought the better of it. Beware the geese. That was an actual experience, my friends. I suffered all terror. I have a post-traumatic syndrome right now. Oh my goodness gracious.
Promise you next week, if you're in that same lighting, you walk around with the candle going. But anyway, thank you so much, Bill. And let's see who we have next on the other side. I think we're going to go to our next final telephone only participant. I have but she is, I call her Lady Queen of Stone Soup. She's been meeting shortly since the first online readings happened back in May, in April and May of 2020. And she had done that from a medical center. She was recovering from an injury. So I am for perseverance, found and some of the Stone Food Gathering, and she's also been the highlight of numerous Massachusetts poetry, Boston Poetry Marathon performances. So let's thank and welcome. Oh, you're unmuted, Carol.
Okay.
The minute you said okay, we just had a hang up. So I'm gonna fix that. I'm gonna get Carol back. We're gonna go to you, Sir Fleming, Robert Fleming. Sorry that the random meter brought you up so quickly.
It's okay. Good evening. I'm Robert Fleming, a writer and graphic artist from Delaware. May I share the screen?
You should be allowed to now.
Thank you. So I'm going to do a poem about my country of birth, which is Canada. First, I'm going to show you where I was born. I was born in Montreal, so I'm going to put the pointer on the map where Montreal is. And because I was born in Montreal, my first language was French, and then I became bilingual. So now I'm going to show the poem. This version is in French, and then I will follow with the version in English. Canada souvient. Le drapeau est rouge comme la santé des premiers 1608 colons d'Acadier et blanche comme le premier florissant fleur de lis. Dans l'automne, les arbres érables tombent orange et élan boirus. Dans l'hiver, la neige couvre le prairie rose. Dans le printemps, l'arbre érable sèvre et les castors laissaient leur loge. Dans l'été, juillet 1, 1867, Canada est devenu une nation. And now the English version.
Was everything okay?
Where is, oh, I already told you, I already told you. Why, where did, told you.
Okay, I'm back. I just found it.
Okay.
So this is the English version. Canada remembers. The Canadian flag is as red as the blood of the first 1608 Acadian settlers, and white as the first bloomed fleur-de-lis flower. In fall, maple tree leaves fall orange and moose rut. In winter, snow covers the prairie rose. In spring, maple trees sap and beavers leave their lodges. In summer, July 1st, 1867, Canada became a nation. Thank you for letting me do a tribute to my country of birth. And my next two activities in May, I will have 4 visual poems published in Autoliths, and my chapbook Conway will be published by Four Feathers Press. Greetings from Delaware.
He's gonna get wet.
Thank you, Robert. Okay, so now she is unmuted and ready to go. Let's bring up Carol Weston. Carol, you should be able to go now.
Who are you talking?
I'm talking to you, Carol.
Oh my God. Now, did you hear me read or not?
No, what happened was you got disconnected and I thought you realized that when you called me back.
Oh,
I'm so sorry. I
Oh.
sure was wondering.
good. I'll start again. Yeah, fine. Okay. Carol Weston. Let me see. My name is Carol Quest on. I am born of lightning 3.5 billion years ago, plus 88 years ago. The day starting with the first cell upon the waters. I live on the land before there were names, Pangea. I am primordial from the beginning. Every force that ever lived lives in my body, and I move with love for all of them. And a note, the Miller-Urey experiment in 1953 mixed primordial ingredients at the University of Chicago and exposed them to a strong jolt of electricity similar to lightning to create the early atmosphere in which life was born. Thank you.
Thank you, Carol. We have next of Eileen Cleary, are you ready to go now?
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Chad, thank you so much for running this stone soup. It's amazing. And I can't wait to hear Karen, and I'm enjoying this so much, all the readers. Leaves and blooms. Soon April, and those of us who'd frozen our fingers close pinning children's outfits into brightly colored popsicles or who shoveled snow just before the town's plow pushed the icy streets onto our driveways, or who'd spilt the golden retriever's ashes we'd agreed none of us would scatter until spring when all of us could gather, blink away lopsided snowmen blinded by hungry does. We noticed the neighbors drag away electric deer who glared through our windows for so long that our rescue puppy no longer interrogates them. We cannot help but recall our parents' tree, its poisoned tinsel, or the year Shiva swallowed it while large with litter. Or was that the year she'd widened but didn't whelp? The year she'd collected and mothered the ornaments? The year she would not let any of us near the torn rabbit? Anyway, their dear stood since before the couple left to have their daughter, and long after the morning they returned without her. But let's not fret about Christmas decorations from our past or those strewn on our neighbor's lawn. Mud season arrives despite the stillborn, the earth rolling over as predicted. If we live long enough, we pause when the ground softens, the woodpile dampens, or the sparrow's song is close enough to touch. Thank you.
Morning, Clary, everyone. Either the Lily Poetry Review and oops, which one of them is our features poetry. I can convince them to ask about that, ask about subscribing to Lily as well. I didn't mention this earlier, but hoping the Karen puts down. Oh, sorry you can't hear me, but let's see what we can do. Dang. But sorry, one thing. Probably part of it is because the background is parts unknown, but it's an unknown part that's known to many people. So I'm in a packed place, and we'll be getting to the meat of the night. But definitely ask Eileen about Lily Poetry Review. And this is the time where we do have our closing reader, but I want to find out if anyone else is interested in reading tonight. I did ask for chat, and some of you did put in the chat, but some of you were silent. So speak now or hold your peace. Okay. Given how it's getting harder to hear me, I can't wait to see what this sounds like when I try to put this video up on YouTube tomorrow. We are going to introduce for our closing, we're going to introduce for our closing feature, Mr. James Van Looy. James, can you hear me? Let's have you close on.
Yes, okay, Chad. So, hello. Okay, Chad?
Yeah,
I'm here. I'm here. Yeah. This is a piece that's really about the pandemic because number one, I don't think the pandemic is over, and number two, we have long COVID going on here, and I've spent many years working in the homeless community, and I've never seen anything like what's going on the streets of this city right now. So I think we really need to all understand that this is a profound thing that just happened to us over the last 3 years. So this is a poem that's about it called The Wounding of the Light 2, which is actually from the I Ching reading number 36, Wounding of the Light. You can tell how much pain they're in. There's razors in their voices and blood in their poor shell-shock riveting eyeballs. Empty-headed, swivel-necked, foot-bound. We still shine quiet, patient perseverance, even when the only thing left to do is to avoid conflict without ever showing how it feels to be entombed, far below the prevailing illusions of failing empire, last-ditch effort to resale the same old lies, double down, triple down, quadruple put on the bloated budgets and repeated ripoffs. You turn at the sound, splitting the silence. You see coyote heading toward the fence. You see his mate coming, scattering back for cover. You know what's been is doomed and over. Up in the sky, it's a bird. No, it's a plane. Down below, it's all post-traumatic shock. And here's the song. There are smiles that make us happy. There are smiles that make us blue. There are smiles that steal away the teardrops as the sunbeams steal away the dew. There are smiles that have a tender meaning that the eyes of love alone may see, and the smiles that fill my life with sunshine are the smiles that you give to me. Thank you.
Thank you, James. How well can you hear me now? Okay, I'm gonna give one of our own the honor of introducing our feature tonight, so you don't have to hear it through. I must sound like I'm underwater. So, Robert, if you would be so kind to read the introductory text to tonight's feature.
Be my pleasure. Karen Friedland's poems have been published in the Lily Poetry Review, Nix's Mate Review, One Art, and others. She was nominated for a Pushcart Prize, received the 59th Moon Prize from Writing in a Woman's Voice, and had a poem hanging on the walls of Boston City Hall. Her book of poems are Places That Are Gone and Tales from the Teacup Palace. She lives in the West Roxbury neighborhood of Boston with her husband and 3 pets. Karen is living with incurable, inoperable ovarian cancer.
Thank you. Thank you.
Put your hands together.
Very well read. Thank you, Robert. I appreciate that. Thanks, everybody, for being here, and thank you for the open mic. Yeah, that's the definite taste of the Boston poetry scene, and there you have it. It's an honor to be a featured reader here, and without further ado, I will read you some poems. The first batch are from my 1.5-year-long cancer experience, which is going to be ongoing. Whoops, try that again. I'll just plunge right into it. The first one is called, This Winter, My Body is Killing Me. Now, why'd you go all cancerous on me, right ovary? Then sprinkle cancer nodules like fairy dust throughout the abdomen, from rectum to diaphragm, constellations of cancers, some the size of a grain of sand, ugly, evil little rosebuds with yellow dots staring up at me from the surgeon's exploratory snapshots, as if to say, geez, and how little you knew. We're trying to kill the bastards with chemo now, dragging me down low with it. I lay in bed with the dogs and cat all day, a single neuron pinging in my brain. Soon enough, more trauma, massive surgery, removing cancers, lady parts, everything. And in the spring, like the world outside my window, like Jesus Christ himself, a hopeful resurrection of what's left of me. And these were all written while I was going through what they call frontline, which thank you, which is the the 4-hour surgery and the 7 chemos. And unfortunately, the cancer came back after that. But these were written while I was going through that experience. So this one was published in Nix's Mate, the local wonderful publication, who has published David and other folks here. So it's called ovarian stage 3C. A woman is firmly chopping a carrot on the diagonal, a technique her mother once termed elegant. Still, she feels bad because the carrot is technically alive or had the ability to spring back to life were she not throwing it into boiling water. The woman has a nasty cancer that gives her a 46% chance of surviving 5 years, 28% 10. Cancer has made her humble, essentially grateful for every gift and kindness shown her, for every single moment in her tiny gem-like home. I'll miss all this, she thinks. Cooking simple veggie dinners, watching sunsets, birds and squirrels in her own backyard, reading papers on the couch with her mate and her animals, which have changed over the years. And then she remembers that you can't miss things when you're dead, and resolves at that moment to be that much more alive. This one is called, also from Nix's mate, called 3 Days After Chemo. Morning in the cathedral of our breathings, the dogs, cat, and I. Chemo, my blue ruin, barely allows me to open my eyes. Preferable in some ways to mindlessly racing through my days is listening intently to airplanes as they tear apart the sky, is savoring the sweet liqueur of complete and utter exhaustion, is praying for my own salvation. This next poem was published in, thank you, Constellations, another wonderful local publication. That's David probably has been, you've been published in there, yeah, and others perhaps too. This is called Enough. A little sip of water. Enough. I suppose I've had enough of this world and her various offerings, should this cancer take me. Enough green-veiled springtimes with quizzical robins, enough swelling, crashing oceans, east and west, enough molten sunsets captured through stained glass windows, enough sleepless nights, thrashing and sweating with self-doubt, enough news of war, cruelty, degradation, and desperation, enough personal experience with loss and death. Enough, oops, sorry. Then a small dog nestles in the crook of my knee. She's wiser than me, and I realize afresh that I'm not quite ready to leave just yet. I could do a visual and show you guys the dog. Why don't I do that? All right, this is the dog. Cookie. I'll give her back to Rich. There you go. Yeah, she's been having a little cough lately. I hope everything's all right. This next one, I believe, is being published in the upcoming Lily Poetry Review. See, where is Eileen there still? Anyway, she's the wonderful editor of the Lily Poetry Review. It's called, hi Eileen. It's called Easter, whoop, sorry, very, very tentative camera keeps slipping off there. It's called Easter Sunday. How healing are the chartreuse leaves and pure white blossoms riding a stiff April wind outside my window. Are my animals breathing heavily in their sleep at the foot of the bed, calming me as I resurrect from a 4-hour surgery that stripped me of lady parts and cancerous tumors in so many odd places? How miraculous was my young surgeon, training for years to do his level best to keep middle-aged women alive. Spring, I salute you. Life, world, you too. Okay. I think because I don't want to keep this going for too long. Oh, I'll just read them. My husband said, just read them. Okay, I'll just read them. This is called One Can Hope. One can hope for more rain this endless drought, for more years beyond the scant chances this cancer gives me, for more years for my animals too while we're at it. Meanwhile, I wear my short white chemo hair like a badge, do art therapy, write poems, join support groups, and walk my wagging dogs past neighbors who ask after me with kindness. What we've got right now at this very moment is all that we've got. Hang in there, I tell the trees, the dogs, my own damn self. Okay. This one's called Last Chemo for Now. Summertime, last chemo over for now, and tradesmen outside my window again do battle with old New England houses, banging out rotting wood, scraping, painting, protecting against winter and decay, much as surgeons and chemo nurses tried their damnedest to do with me. The sound of robins, children, and haphazard one-note wind chimes float through an open window because the music of life is always playing. Spent and exhausted, I am still alive, rapt, transfixed, wondering what's next. And last of the cancer poems, oh, nope, second to last of the cancer poems is Advice from the Incurable Cancer Patient. I will battle the beast, and someday, possibly not far from now, the beast will win. It's not personal, it just is. So please don't tell me to just be positive and you'll beat this thing. Instead, remind me to dwell in the movements of warrior trees in the winter wind and clouds like mountains sailing past the window, to dwell fully and absolutely in the one day I know I have. Okay. And the last cancer poem is called Cancer the Teacher. Cancer says, you'd best appreciate this sunshot summer day, this amazing too short life, and these people, these good-hearted people whose paths you were so fortunate to cross, these wonderful, singular, kind-hearted people who genuinely, miraculously, hopefully seem to care. Thank you to everyone who's been like unbelievably supportive throughout all of this, including folks out there. Thank you guys so much. And I just thought I'd throw in a few non-cancer poems just to show, you know, I write poems that aren't about cancer. Thank you for the lovely comments. Thank you. So this one is called, and it's from my, one of my two books. This one I think is from my first book, Places That Are Gone, put out by Nix's Mate Press. It's called A Revelation. It's a revelation how dusty a house can get, and how familiar you are by now, with every spider lurking in every corner, patiently waiting for the dusting to end, while the old blind dog barks for your attention. Rest in peace, Molly. Oh, your aching back and head as you clean inch by inch towards wood gleaming beauty, where all you ever really wanted was a home. So this next poem is called Green Gift. It was the one that was posted, that was on the hall, the wall of City Hall in Boston for a year, as picked by the Boston Poet Laureate. This was a few years back, I don't know, 2018 maybe. Anyway, it's called Green Gift. There are times, usually late afternoons in late summertime, when everything feels holy and every teacup blessed, when the train whistles low and the sun streams through dark green leaves and sets before you know it, when dogs bark into the dusk, crickets begin their serenade, and neighbors whack down green things in their yards that are apparently growing too much. Greenery that is, in fact, a gift from the gods, life and lushness spilling over the edges, and here we are, straining every hour to contain it. This next song is called The Lost Song. I think it's from my book, Tales from the Teacup Palace. The Lost Song. It was about love, but I can never remember the lyrics or the melody for that matter. It was on the radio briefly during a difficult time of love and death. It was wispy, ineffably lovely, not well known. Someday, if I really apply myself, I may find this lost song, and the mysteries of the universe will finally fall into place. One or two more. This was one of my first poems published locally by Nix's Mate, and it's in the book Places That Are Gone. It's called An American Girl. The pale blue polyester pants that old men wore up high in those days, while they sprayed pesticide in every crack and swept up every last leaf impenetrable. And the glee of the muddy, shouting girls playing in the creek with sparklers back before they even knew they had bodies. And the tip-eared, smiling little reddish-brown dog who might live 14 or 15 years if you're lucky and they don't give her away. You'll remember her kind eyes always. This one goes out to my very patient mother who's been waiting in the audience to hear me read. So thank you, Mom. This one is called Life as a Faded Photograph from the 1970s. Go wait for Daddy, our mother would say on the front concrete steps before the trees grew big, before the walkway turned to a tasteful slate. So we waited for Daddy in the hazy 70s sunshine, in the hideously patterned clothing of the day. It was a ruse to get rid of us, it turned out. But still we waited, zen-like, as if trapped in amber for what might have been hours, only to reappear years later as a faded yellow and green photograph when a certain song comes on the radio. Thanks. And this one goes out to my husband who's patiently laying on the couch over there, or the bed over there. It's called Scotch. Even as a child, I understood the deep kind of tired that old folks got, that had them laying fully clothed on sofas by late afternoon. I'm middle-aged now and tired, and the old folks are all gone, such as laid down in the afternoon with their shoes on, loosened ties, and poured scotch over ice, except in our home where we keep those traditions alive. And this one, second to thank you, second to last poem is called The Poet. It's about a poetry reading. The Poet. The seriously published poet goes on just a little too long, and we collectively lose faith in her vaunted words, her 70s New York style ennui. She, in turn, feels us slipping away like the tide, less transfixed by the minute, by the torrent of honed words that had so recently cosseted us. So she picks up her tempo, and we rustle uncomfortably in our seats, craving our own worlds, craving release. And finally, one last poem. Thank you. This one goes out to Gloria Mindock. Thank you for all your support and love. She nominated this one for Pushcart Prize. It was in my collection, Tales from the Teacup Palace, that she published from Cervena Barber Press. So thank you, Gloria. It's called Ridiculously Alive. I am thinking about the small spaces I inhabit and the tiny things I see every day, the very stones on the road. I am thinking that I will continue to reject that which insults my soul. This gets easier every year. I am turning my mind instead to everything that is now living. My husband on the couch reading the paper, the dogs snoring softly beside us, the late summer crickets with their fading serenade. Everything I know dies, but this does not grieve me right now, because at this moment, everything is so brilliantly, almost ridiculously alive. Thank you very much. Thank you, Chad. Thank you, everybody in the audience. Yay to all of you. Thank you for being here so much.
Thank you so much. And thank you so much, Karen. Karen Friedland, come on, put your hands together virtually, audibly, visually, emoticonally, as much as you can. I don't know how much you can hear me now, but much love to Karen. And Karen, I hope you send me your Venmo or Cash App information, because I do want people to make donations. I will post that information tomorrow. But
Okay.
in the last couple of minutes when I talk, if you want to share that in the chat, then people can take that down. I do hope people donate something, a couple of bucks, 2, 3, whatever you can. And of course,
I don't have Venmo. I'm sorry.
You have
I have no
Cash App?
Venmo.
Well, if you have PayPal,
I have nothing. I have nothing. But you know what I'll do is I will send the links to my 2 books. I'll send them to you, Chad, and you could
Okay.
post them, or yeah.
and I urge
My
you
2
guys to at
books.
least grab one of her books and support either
Thank
Gloria Mindock, welcome Gloria, among her many duties as part of the
Thank
heads of
you,
Savannah Barber
Karen.
Press.
Oh, thanks,
course,
fellow
Eileen-
Karen. That's
Eileen
nice.
Cleary of Lily Poetry Review support not only our features tonight, but also her publishers. And thank you all for coming. I don't want to say too much more because some parts unknown is getting a little bit more rowdy here. I might have to be like a war dispatcher and go to save ground. But I appreciate you guys helping to make this work. It can be this way every week, except hopefully this next week I won't be here. But we'll have more announcements to come leading up to the rest of Natural Poetry Month. If you're interested in doing the Natural Poetry Month challenge of 30 poems in 30 days, we have a private Facebook group that you can join. It's only been day 5, or just do it by yourself. But I've been posting my work. I hope whether you guys post your work or not, you're trying to do it. It's been a fun challenge. I've been involved in it one way or another since 2005. The next features will be announced in the next 48 hours. I'm going to have everyone do the obligatory wave. And I want to thank everyone. Thank you so much, Karen, support her work. I will send the links I'll put the links out for the books tomorrow. Definitely, if you buy one book, you'll be supporting numerous people in the poetry world locally in Boston. So we thank you from Boston to Baltimore, wherever you might be. Take care of yourselves tonight and stay safe. The pandemic's not yet over. I've been at this cafe without a mask for over an hour, so if you don't hear from me next week, you know what happened. Shit. Anyway.
All right. Thanks so much, Chad.
Take care of yourselves and have a good night. And Karen, good luck with everything. We'll talk more.
Thank you.
See you soon.
Okay.
School's over.
Thanks, guys.
Next time.
Thanks, Karen. Thanks, everybody.